right. Well, thank you, everybody, and thanks again for the invitation to be here tonight. The chair, who I know is on his way to come, called me a few weeks ago and said, we need a good speaker, but we can't find one, so we'll settle for you. I'm happy to come and but I wanted to give you an update on the legislative session. Some of you probably saw in the news that it was a protracted, lengthened session because of some breakdowns in the relationship there primarily between the House and the governor, but thankfully we got a framework in place to settle the budget disagreements and differences that we had. So we're thankful that we got done with that. The good thing about it, even though it was kind of nerve-wracking that we didn't get done in 60 days, was that we were actually able to focus on policy for that final 2 weeks of regular session going into May, and not have the budget all slammed in on top like it normally is. So it usually works, to where it's all just kind of slammed together, but we actually could think a little more clearly to finish policy items, get those all done, and then focus on the budget over the next several weeks and then get that done in June. So I don't like the extended session and the cost it is to have to do that. But it's the first time it's happened in the 9 years that I've been there. But we actually, I think, ended up better trying to focus more on priorities. Again, Nassau County benefited to a great degree. I'm going to tell you about that. It's in the paper, by the way, if you have to. Just wanted to put this in your hands. I'm not going to read all this word for word. You're probably thankful for that because there's a lot on there. But I just wanted to highlight some of the policy bills that we took up. A few that I ran, a few that some colleagues ran. I'll tell you about some good tax savings that we have for all Floridians, which you always appreciate. And then also the money that we brought home for Nassau County is also included here. So the first one on the front sheet talks about what we call school district reporting requirements. It's a shame we have to do this, but because of what we're dealing with in some cases in the schools, this is something that we had to take up. And it actually stemmed from an issue that we had in one of our high schools in Duval County down in Jacksonville. We've had situations where some teachers have behaved inappropriately towards students. And you may remember from the news last year, there was a lot of that going on at one high school in particular in Duval County where we had some teachers that were removed. But what it prompted me to do was ask our staff before we went into the previous session to help me write a bill that would require all of our school districts to adopt policies that tighten up on the standards with regard to reporting if there's been an arrest by a teacher or other personnel who works at a school, other person who works at a school. It doesn't mean they're being guilty, it just means they have to report it. Or that law enforcement within 24 to 48 hours of an arrest, they also have to report certain offenses to the school district if the arrest related to it. And primarily what we're talking about is those of a sexual nature. That's what was taking place in the high school. So we did get that passed. It was near unanimous support in both chambers, thankfully. And again, it's a shame we have to deal with that. But another thing I'd like to continue to do is actually look at, we have this situation, especially with a lot of our older facilities, is the way the physical plan of the school is actually laid out. You don't want a ripe environment for any, unpleasantness happening there between, whether it's student and teacher. I mean, you don't want teachers to get accused of things that they haven't done either. So really, it's for protection of the students and the teachers, but you don't want the physical environment like closed-in spaces or classrooms that don't have windows on the doors or, whatever it might be. You can't really have high visibility in the rest of the person. That's understandable. But in all the other areas of the school, we need to make sure there's visibility, there's accountability. Duval County adopted a policy that said no more can a single teacher or instructional personnel be alone with one single other student, after school or even during the school day. You have to have at least two of both, or two of one, or two of the other, or something like that. We have to do that now for protection of the students and again for the teachers too. So it's really working both ways to try to do that. So that's what that bill related to, is tightening up on those standards so that we can protect the kids and make sure that when they go to school, their parents know, hey, for the most part, 90-95% of the adults, those are trusted adults, no problem. But if there is an issue that takes place out there, that's got to be reported. It's sad in Duval County, the district actually knew what was going on in one of the cases, not the teacher in the classroom, but the kids anyway, until it broke in the news. So it was, unfortunate we had to deal with that.